I spent just 15 minutes. It's a very interesting place.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So we are still in Ghana and we are at the Cape Coast Castle. So we have already posted part 1 of this video. So if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch it, because we are about to discover and uncover the haunting past and the haunting things that happen right here in this castle. Okay, so stay tuned and make sure to subscribe and keep watching for more. We are now inside of the building history room. I believe that's what was on the door. And in this room, you'll be able to learn about the castle, the history of the castle. There are also some artifacts, some different artifacts. For example, you have things that they used to build the castle. For example, limestone and other things. And also there is a model of the castle. This display in the corner showcased some masonry materials that were used by ancient builders. For example, oyster shells, burnt oyster shells, lime powder, timber float, metal trowels, and a few more things. This is a model of the Cape Coast Castle. It looks just the same. It's the same design, the same formation or format, whatever it is. And guess what, guys? Our tour guide is now ready for us to explore the rest of the castle. So stay tuned, stay entertained, and keep watching.
Oh, where am I?
in the cave.
So you are all welcome. My name is Mark Tete. I am the guide. We are doing a walking tour. It's taking us about 45 minutes to probably 1 hour. It's a big castle. Okay. So before we finish, we have to spend about an hour. Okay. And I'll begin the tour first with a brief introduction. Okay. After that, we'll move straight to the dungeons to see where British kept about 1,000 slaves. We'll come out to the yard and talk about some graves. Then we'll move to the condemned cell, then to the female dungeons, then to the door of no return. Wow. However, I promise you today we shall return. Amen. So do not panic at all. Okay. If we do that, we still have some strength and time, then I'll take you upstairs. Okay. During the time of slave trade, the British were here with the slaves, but they live upstairs. And Africans were in the darkness like this. So we are going through all these places. And on the tour, pictures are free. Okay. You can ask questions. Sure. Comment, I call them. My brother, they can't wear the so this one comes come. Okay. Now get our phone, Brownie. Brownie. What's up? I'm talking to you.
Menstrual.
Yes. Yes. Those joining you are welcome. We are just beginning. My name is Mark Tete. Now this is historic Cape Coast Castle. But the word Cape Coast itself, it is a corrupted Portuguese word from the word Cabo Corso, which means short cape. And that one was corrupted into Cape Coast by the English people. In this structure you see here today is the youngest and the last slave castle in Ghana. In Ghana we have 3 of these castles and several of the forts along the coast that were built by Europeans. But the first one is at Elmina. That was built around 1482 by Portuguese under the leadership of one Don Diego G. Azambuja. We have one in Accra that was built by the Danish around 1661. This one was started by the British in 1665. So if you look at the ages, this one is the youngest among the 3. And this one was built or started at the time Europeans started enslaving Africans for about 200 years already. Because this slave trade in general started at the Elmina Castle, the first one, but not this one. Okay. That was during the 1500s, when in the history of the whole world, there was this man called Christopher Columbus. He said he discovered the Americas. So when he said so, Spanish people moved from Europe to those places and they established their plantations where they needed labor to work. So they tried to use the local people, called the Native Americans, or the Red Indians, to work for them. But according to the same Europeans, they said those people were not strong and they were dying from diseases. So there was a Roman Catholic bishop. His name was Bartolomeo de las Casas. He suggested to the Spanish people to look for alternative source of labor to replace the Native Americans. For that matter, look for Africans who are stronger and can work under similar climatic conditions to replace the Native Americans. What happened was that even before the start of the transatlantic slave trade, the white men came to build these structures like this along the coast of West Africa. It was what we call the trans-Saharan trade, which the Arabs took some blacks through the Saharan desert to Europe. So some of those people were taken from Europe, listen, to the Americas and tried them based on Bartolomeo's recommendation. And those people were taken from Spain and Lisbon. So when they got to the New World, they tried them, and they proved to be physically strong. So at first, Europeans were taking black people from Europe to the Americas to work, but with time, Africans there got finished because there were not many. So they had to come back to the land of Africa again to take the blacks to the farms. And that was the time Portuguese built Elmina Castle, which is not far from here. Portuguese came to Elmina in search of gold, because you remember this country was once called Gold Coast. So gold brought Europeans. They will tell you they came to spread Christianity. That is never true. They came because of our natural resources. So Portuguese were at Elmina, trading in gold, were given a license by the Spanish. They call it asiento, to transport Africa from Elmina to the Americas to go and work. To the whole of West Africa, Portuguese started this trade. They were at Elmina for 150 years, buying and selling our ancestors. The Dutch attacked them 1637. They defeated them. So Dutch were at Elmina for about 50 years, and the British also got here. And when British came here, Dutch were at Elmina, occupied this land. So British fought them 1664. They conquered them. And take note, 1664 was the same year a state in North America called New York, then New Amsterdam, changed hands from Dutch to British. The same year British defeated the Dutch over here. So when the British defeated the Dutch, they actually started the construction. The construction went through stages. It went through demolition, addition, demolition, addition. They built it over 100 years period using black people. And then when they built it, the dungeons like this, they kept 1,300 slaves at one time in the dungeons. This is the entrance to the middle dungeon. 1,000 were here, separated from 300 women. They stayed 2 weeks to 3 months in the dungeons because of their ships. But 1807, British came out with a law said to stop slave trade. 1814, that was passed the same law in Holland. And from that time to 1860, Africa slave trade did not stop. That alone continued for 40 years. So British named that illegal. So 1860, slavery stopped. So they used this building again as a colonial administrative center. Not only Ghana, British colonial for this building, but other English colonies in West Africa, like Nigeria, Sierra Leone. This building served as their headquarters. And the British controlled the castle up to the time Ghana regained our independence on the March 6th, 1957. Then we moved the British out of the castle. So the castle, as at 2023, is 358 years old. That is the age of this building. Elmina, the first, is 541 years old. I also went to the museum. If you read everything towards the end, you get to understand that before British built the castle in 1665, this piece of land changed hands among several Europeans. Portuguese who built the Elmina Castle. They occupied this land first. 1637, when Dutch conquered the Portuguese at Elmina, they abandoned this land. But in 1654, Swedish also came here. They built a structure. They called that Fort Karlolusbeck. They were trading in gold and ivory. When they had enough, they left. Then later, the Danes came. So when the Danes were here, at a point in time, the locals or the indigents, called the Faithful people, seized the fort for a while. So when they seized the fort, later they gave it back to the Danes. So while the Danes were here, Dutch also attacked. So the Danes were defeated from this place. The Danes went to build Stosu Castle. So while Dutch thought they finished everybody, 1664 British attack. When the British defeated the Dutch and they built the castle, they knew other Europeans would attack them. The British brought those cannons to see around for defense. That was why they stayed here for 200 years and over, and nobody conquered them because of the weapons. And they built this whole structure using bricks. You can see bricks here. They brought them from England. They brought them to balance their empty ships to Africa. When we were going, this our ancestors has balanced away. There wasn't cement then. So they built this whole structure using grounded seed shells mixed with lime powder and then palm oil. And the foundation of the castle is a rock. They built it on a huge rock. That is why for years the building is solid. So this is just a small introduction before we start. On a tour, I will tell you more, including how the slaves were captured from their villages before they brought them here and they were taken away. There's a possibility of others joining us, so I don't want to tell you that for now. Okay. So we are going to start. Okay. As we go there, just be in the middle, right? Sure. It's a gentle slope as you see, so just the middle. how it was. I off the light just to show you that there was no light when we were keeping Africans in. So from the entrance up to this place and to the last end, it was designed for 1,000 men, 1,000 captives. But British divided the dungeons into 5. So this is 1. 200 people kept it 200. There was no like 200, brother. We talk about slave trade, it's not a joke. 200 were in this small space. What? You can't even move. There was no light. So this ones were their windows. For 200 human beings. In they stayed 2 weeks, up to 3 months, before the ships came for them. So some became blind. Some became blind.
The dark.
You can see the bricks is original. They didn't give them things like toilet facility. No urine.
Thanks for watching and stay tuned for part 3.